I'd had visions before. Most grots in Rustspike had. We weren't allowed in the brew huts or the fight sheds, so on the rare times when we managed to dodge our graft, we'd gather in groups of the grots we hated least and guzzle the skinny mushrooms that grow in the Warphead's drops on the edge of town. They weren't much good, those visions. They were just headaches with colours, really. This was something else. This was an audience with the gods. It was nothing to start with, just dark and damp and cold. And then, way up above, there was a voice. Voices, in fact. They were so big and so deep it was hard to tell what language they were speaking, let alone what they said. But it must have been Gork and Mork, and they were fighting, which is fine because that's what they like doing best. I couldn't see it, but I could feel it. Massive, rumbling impacts that made the dark thunder and would have knocked me off my feet if I hadn't had any kind of presence. And then, a spark, a tiny little mote of green, bright and hungry, drifting down through many tusk lengths till it touched the floor wherever I was. The green spread out from that tiny point, rippling in big bright circles and pooling in spots that spread circles of their own. It spread faster and faster until everything was covered in it, as far as I could see. Now it was lit up. I could see I was in some kind of cavern, or rather, a big twisted mess of caverns, like the cells in a hive of sugar gits, but massive. The walls were meaty, I reckon is the word, damp and red and crinkly, like the folds in the brain, which I'd seen enough of in my brief life to know well enough. As the green gathered on them, they changed. They started sprouting fungus, moulds and slimes at first, the sort of stuff you eat when there's a dust storm on, and the orcs have had all the good grub. But then murkworts and billercaps and huge, complicated things, like nothing that grew on Urk. And just like it, is outside of Holy Visions, wherever the fungus grew, so did other green things. Squiglets first, the kind so small you can only see them as mean little specks digging into your armpits. Then squigs as big as talon tips and fists and heads. Next came snotlings, who are to grots what we are to orcs, crawling and yipping and scrapping with each other in big, writhing piles. Everywhere there was snotlings eating squigs and squigs eating snotlings, and with every jaw snap, gnash and gnaw, the green grew brighter and more alive. Then there were grots, swarms of grots, and they got straight to work lashing together meager little tools from squig sinew and catwood, and bullying the snots into working too. Faster than I could keep up with, they beat the fungal jungle back and started building farms and drops and brew huts and barracks. They were just in time for the first orcs, who were cleaving their way out of their grow holes now, and were hungry already. The orcs kept coming, and they kept getting bigger, until even the runts among them were as big as the war bosses on Urk. And above it all, way up, on what might have been the cavern roof, or might have been infinity, the stars were coming out. More stars than every mech on Earth could have counted in a lifetime, and every one of them that bright, angry, beautiful green. I was so distracted by the stars, I didn't see the squig off. It was a brilliant thing, a horrible thing, as big as a battle wagon it was, and it made the skinny, sag-throated beast raised by Urk snakebite herders look pathetic. It nearly smashed me to mush with its foot. But I didn't live to be 3 years old by not being able to roll out the way of a stomp. Mork snicked fast, and once I was on my feet, I followed the beast. I don't know why, but it felt right. Soon, there was a whole herd of squiggles, lumbering along at something like a gallop, and barging each other with enough force to flatten forts. I ran along with them, though, through that untamable garden, and I didn't care if they stomped me flat, because it felt like fear wasn't something worth feeling in this place. Up above now, where the green stars shone, there were warriors, huge orcs, perfect orcs, everyone bigger than a clan chief, and rippling with green light. I don't know how I knew, but they was orcs, as they was meant to be. They glowed bright enough to outshine the stars, and as they strode through the sky, I could feel the gods above them, grinning down in violent pride. Then clashes and booms and roars started coming up ahead. The giants were wading into a scrap. It was hard to see what was going on, given I was looking up from between the flanks of the galloping squiggles. But it was a big fight. It kept getting bigger, and I think the orcs won. Surely, they could have lost. But then, when the noises of the fight faded away, the presence of the gods did too. It was like the whole cavern got cold and dark again, like it had been to start with. The squigoffs stopped in their tracks, and so did every other thing in the whole of the Great Green. It was like everything was lost, suddenly, looking around and wondering what to do now. Of course, they started fighting. It was a frenzy, above and below, from the giants trading punches like comet strikes in the sky, to the snotlings wrapping skinny claws around each other's necks, down below. And we know gods to bang everyone's head together and tell them to pack it in. It went on until the whole place was like a butcher's tent, and there'd been enough murders for the survivors to have some space. It wasn't peaceful then, but it weren't a bloodbath neither, because all the really hard things, like the orcs and the sky, were dead. It went on for ages like that. There were orcs, still, but they were nothing like the colossal fighters who'd been there before, and they was all stuck down on the cavern floor. Watching them was a bit like watching raindrops get swiped away by a truck's hatch swipers. Every time one got big enough to seem like it might make it up to the sky, all the others nearby ganged up and beat it into shreds, so none of them got as big as they should have been. Until one day, that is. It wasn't even that big when it got attacked, but it was properly demolishing every orc that came at it, delivering headbutts like point-blank cannon strikes and pulling any survivors into line to fight alongside it. As more and more enemies flooded in, the fire got larger, and so did the pile of bodies in front of it. Green lightning started to strike all around it, and soon that body pile reached all the way up to the sky. Seeing this, the new giant began climbing the mountain of the dead towards the stars. With every step, the winter grew more bulky, more vigorous. And soon, the cavern started glowing bright again. The stars swelled, and I knew that Gork and Mort was back, somehow. Or that they'd never been gone, but had just lost interest for a while, until there'd been something worth looking at again. Soon, the champion reached the top of the body pile, where the stars had grown so big there was no black left between them, and it stood there for a moment like it was thinking. Looking up at that titan, which had horns now, as well as loads of arms bearing all sorts of different guns and choppers, I was terrified. But I also knew what joy was for the very first time. And then the titan looked back down at me. There were starships flitting across the green sea of its one good eye, looking like tiny bingits. And as the full weight of that glare bore down on me, I thanked the gods that they'd let me die like this. But the giant didn't kill me. It curled a finger big enough to flick a moon into a planet, and it beckoned me. Then it turned and stepped into glorious, infinite green, leaving only flames in its boot prints.
Makari is a stupid grot who serves Ghazghkull Mag Uruk Tracker. Another worthless runt who apparently found the corpse of Ghazghkull Mag Uruk Tracker in a trash heap behind Grotsnick's shed. Apparently, he looked into the prophet's eye when he woke up and saw a vision from Gork and Mork. Sharing Ghazghkull's vision of his great green and drafting him into his war, Gaz gave him a burning claw mark as a sign of his standing. Given a name and a reason to live, Makari is always at Fracker's side. His first duty would be to write down the vision he'd seen using his boss's blood written on scrap and metal with his fingers. Carrying the artifact, known as the Lucky Stick, Makari also wears a necklace which has the bullet which pierces Gaz's brain as the banner waver of the prophet of Gork and Mork. Watching Fracker kill a bloodthirster on the Hulk, World Killer, his life was ended by Grotsnick as he chucked him into warp because he was annoyed. Waking up on what the Umis call Armageddon in a new body, after escaping his birthing tunnel, Makari got the name Lucky Grot and was taken to Fracker. Marking his skin again with his claw burn, Makari got all his memories back for some reason. I don't know, he's not orky, but I guess Ghazghkull likes him. Watching Fracker lose time and again during the War of Armageddon, old Balai kept stopping his crumping, forcing the prophet to turn tail and run off to Golgotha. Ignoring Gork and Mork's orders, Fracker went back to Armageddon again. Makari told him he was doing the wrong war and got killed for it, but he came back, so don't feel sorry for the little runt. Fracker's mate Bullets well missed Makari, so Ghazghkull brought him back, which made Makari really sad, so he jumped into a volley of Umi gunfire, which is well stupid. Still, Ghazghkull brought him back loads, and each time, Makari did the same thing again. Little Snot was so upset about Fracker not doing as Gork and Mork said, he was willing to die for it. Telling Makari he wasn't wrong, and that he could see a war so mega, it would make all other wars look rubbish. Fracker got shot in the belly by a lemon wuss tank, making Makari well angry. So Makari crawled into the tin can and guided the Umis inside. Fracker seeing Gork and Mork work through the little Snot, realising he'd been wrong all along. Pulling back from Armageddon, again, to begin his great war, Gaz and Makari went to fight the bugs in the Octarian War to get stronger. That said, Ghazghkull got his head chopped off by a beaky called Ragmar. Him, who's got big teeth and swishy hair, longer than a hair squig, so you know he's proper strong, burying Makari under a bunch of rocks and stuff. Grotznik, using bits of Fracker's arm and a body of bullets, brought back Makari without the aid of Gork and Mork. And when Makari woke up, he also saw that Ghazghkull was back, and meaner than ever. Last thing I know about Makari, he got captured by an Umi Inquisitor Lord called His name was Faux. Anyways, they interrogated Makari, but not before Ghazghkull got his little snotling back. But yeah, Makari's still alive today, and he's just as annoying as ever. But don't tell Fracker I said that, you git, or I'll have to crump ya.